Let me tell you about David before he became Sunday school. Before they sanitized him into a felt board. A man with blood on his hands, multiple bodies. A man who took another man's wife and arranged the husband's death to cover it. And the same man wrote Psalm 51. Both things in the same body. That's not a contradiction. That's the gospel. I started in the field, 6 brothers ahead of me in the lineup. The prophet came looking for a king and they didn't even bring me in. I was the afterthought, the one they forgot to invite. And the oil hit my forehead anyway, I didn't audition for this fight. Kill Goliath with a sling, that's the part they put on the wall. But they don't paint the cave I hid in when Saul wanted my body chalk. They don't paint the months I lived among my enemies, pretending I was crazy, drooling on my beard so the Philistines wouldn't peek me. I'm not a clean testimony, I'm a complicated one. Same hands that played the harp held a sword that did the running. Multiple bodies attached to my reign, that's history, not metaphor. And I sent Uriah to the front to die because of his wife on my floor. Psalm of a killer, that's a category they don't preach. A man with blood on his hands, right on worship, the church still reads. Psalm of a killer. David didn't get a clean record, he got grace that didn't pretend the fire was empty. Created me a clean heart, that wasn't a song from a clean man. That was a song from a man who knew exactly what he did. Son of a killer. Same hand, same heart. The grace doesn't separate them, it works through them. I came to him with a story, a rich man, a poor man, one little lamb. He didn't see himself in it till I said the line, you are the man. And what I saw in his face wasn't a politician's defense, wasn't an excuse, wasn't a justification, it was collapse, genuine immediate. A king on the floor admitting the killing he committed. That's the difference between him and Saul. Same throne, same sin, Saul defended, David broke. The broken king is who God still keeps around the table. I've been in throne rooms with men who could not say sorry. Watch their kingdoms decay because pride wore them like armor. But David, when the prophet pointed, David got on the ground. That's why he's still called beloved. The breaking is what makes a king sound. The Sermon on the Mount said the meek inherit the earth. David was meek under accusation. That's the inheritance. Not weak meek. Strength that bows when the truth points. The killer who can fall on his face when the prophet speaks is closer to the throne than the innocent man. Who would have argued? Psalm of a killer. That's a category they don't preach. A man with blood on his hands, right on worship, the church still reads. Psalm of a killer. David didn't get a clean record, he got grace that didn't pretend the fire was empty. Created me a clean heart, that wasn't a song from a clean man. That was a song from a man who knew exactly what he did. Psalm of a killer. Same hand, same heart. The grace doesn't separate them, it works through them. The throne went to a man with a body count. The lineage of Christ ran through the killer. That's not despite the sin, that's specifically through the breaking. God isn't looking for unblemished records, he's looking for unbroken responses to being told the truth. Psalm of a killer. That's the worship that lasts. Psalm of a killer. The world has a clearance rack for people, for potential, for purpose. Damage, discounted, marked down. And once you're on it, you tend to stay there. Because the world doesn't restore, it relocates, moves you to the back, lowers the price, hopes you sell to whoever. But God doesn't shop the clearance rack, he owns the store. And he has different ideas about what damage means. I've been on the clearance rack of more than one room I walked into. Seen the price tag get lowered after they ran the background scan. Watched the assessment shift, mid conversation when the truth came out. Felt the room reprice me in real time, pretend it didn't happen. The world's economy runs on perfection, scarcity. The closer the flawless, the more they bid and damage. Visible damage, recorded damage, name damage. That's the discount line and they make it known. But guys, economy runs on a different commodity. He's not bidding on flawless, he's investing in the broken places. The Japanese have a craft called kintsugi, golden repair. They take broken pottery and fill the cracks with literal gold. The piece becomes becomes more valuable because of the breaking, not despite it, because of it. The fractured line is the feature, the damage is what makes the masterpiece. Damaged goods, that's what the world says. Marked down, written off, sold for parts. Damaged goods. But God doesn't shop the clearance rack, He sees the cracks and thinks gold, not glue. This isn't restoration to original condition. This is restoration to a higher condition than original. Damaged goods. I'm worth more after the breaking, because what He puts in the cracks isn't there to hide the damage. It's there to display the repair. The stone the builders rejected, that's the cornerstone. The thing the construction team threw in the discard pile became the load-bearing element of the entire structure. That's not a metaphor, God just deployed once. That's His pattern across the whole architecture of the kingdom. He doesn't pull from the front of the line, He pulls from the place the line gave up on. And He builds load-bearing structures from rejected materials. The disciples were a fishing crew, a tax collector, zealous, doubters, deniers. Not a single seminary graduate. He picked the people the religious system already had passed on, and built the church on what the establishment threw out. It's not coincidence, that's the pattern. The rejected materials are the building materials for everything He's actually constructing. Joseph said it plain to his brothers years after the pit. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. The damage wasn't subtracted from the story. The damage was repurposed inside the story. What the world meant as harm got reassigned to the work of saving lives. That's the math of the kingdom. The damage isn't the obstacle to the assignment. The damage is the curriculum that qualifies the assignment. Damage good, that's what the world said. Marked down, written off, sold for parts. Damage good, but God doesn't shop the clearance rack. He sees the cracks and thinks gold, not blue. This isn't restoration to original condition. This isn't restoration to a higher condition than original. Damage good. I'm worth more after the breaking, because what He puts in the cracks isn't there to hide the damage. It's there to display the repair. I'm not on the clearance rack anymore. He picked me up, filled the cracks with gold, and put me back on display. Not as a damaged piece, as evidence that what the world discounted was always worth more than the world had the math to calculate. I walked into the meeting and they said hi to everyone but me. I held the door for 10 minutes, 15 people, no thank yous. I sent the email, nobody replied. I made the call, nobody answered. I started to wonder if I was projecting volume or if I was actually transparent. A ghost in the building, there, but not registering. I was the kid in class the teacher forgot to call on. Even when my hand was up first, I was the one she skipped past. Got used to being the option after the obvious choices. Got used to the conversation, moving on without my voice in it. That formed something, a low-grade conviction, that my presence was optional in any room I entered. That speaking up was an imposition I should ration. That being visible was a privilege I had to earn each time I brought that posture into my adult life unedited. Showed up to spaces with my volume preset to lower. Performed indispensability, hoping somebody would finally notice. The invisible employee who actually held the operation. But indispensability and visibility are not the same currency. You can be low-bearing and still get walked past. You can hold up the building and never get your name on it. That's the specific exhaustion of the ghost in the building. Ghost in the building, present but not registering. I held the door, did the work, made the run. Nobody clocked me. That's not paranoia, that's the data. But I'm not invisible to the one who has actual eyes. Hagar called him Elroy, God who sees. And he saw her in the wilderness, everybody had walked past. Ghost in the building to them, seen by name to the one who seeing matters. Ghost in the building, but not in the kingdom. I wanna be careful not to make this victim, because some of the invisibility I built myself. Hid behind the work because the work was safer than the person. Perform quiet competence because competence couldn't be rejected, but the person, the actual me, could be. And I was protecting the actual me by sending the work in alone, letting it represent me in rooms I wouldn't enter myself. That's not just being overlooked, that's preemptive disappearing, beating the room to the verdict by not showing up enough to be evaluated. But God does not engage with the version I send in. He engages with the actual me. He sees through the walls I built to protect the soft parts. He calls the soft parts by their right name. And I had to learn to let myself be seen by him first, before I could let myself be seen anywhere else. The invisibility was a habit I practiced in the expertise, and he's been gently dismantling it for years. Zacchaeus climbed the tree because he was short. Tried to see Jesus from a position the crowd wouldn't let him hold, and Jesus stopped, looked up, and called his name. Zacchaeus, come down. Of all the people in that crowd, Jesus singled out the one in the tree, the one too small to be in the front row, the one nobody would have pointed out. The ghost in the crowd became the dinner host that night because the seer saw him. Ghost in the building, present but not registering. I held the door, did the work, made the run. Nobody clocked me. That's not paranoia, that's the data. But I'm not invisible to the one who has actual eyes. Like I called him Elroy, God who sees. And he saw her in the wilderness, everybody will walk past. Ghost in the building to them, seen by name to the one who seen matter. Ghost in the building, but not in the kingdom. He sees you, it's not a slogan. He sees you, the room missed you, the crowd walked past you, the chat moved on, but he sees you. And eventually the rooms catch up to who he's been seeing all along. My grandfather couldn't say I love you. My father said it once at my high school graduation. I say it every night to my son before he sleeps. That's not three men. That's one bloodline learning a word over 3 generations. The curse and the promise live in the same DNA. You inherit both. You decide which one keeps moving forward. My grandmother prayed in the kitchen. I never sat in for grandchildren she wouldn't live to see the names of. And those prayers were deposited in an account that didn't pay out to 2 generations after she signed. That's how the bloodline works. What you do echoes forward, what they did echoes into me. Whether I asked or not, I'm carrying inheritance I didn't write the will for. Some of it gold, some of it weight, I'm still putting down. The trauma travels silent, nobody said the words, but the patterns came through anyway. The way my father didn't show up emotionally was the way his father didn't show up emotionally. And I caught it in my body before I had language for it, and I'm catching it again in real time with my son, asking myself, what am I about to hand him that I can start right now in this moment? Generational, both ways. The curse and the promise live in the same bloodline. Generational, what they buried, what they prayed, both of them coming through me at the same time. I'm an heir of a complicated estate, some assets, some debts, some assignments left half finished. Generational, I get to choose what I forward, I get to choose what stops here. That's the inheritance I actually decide. I prayed for him before he was born. I prayed for his father before his father was born. I planted seeds in soil I knew I wouldn't see harvest from. That's faith for somebody else's garden. That's the long obedience of a praying woman who knew the timeline didn't belong to her. And I want her to know I heard her. The prayers got through, they worked on a delay long enough that I almost missed them, but they were always working underneath everything I thought I built alone. Exodus 20 said God visits the iniquity to the third and fourth generation. But verse 6 said he shows love and kindness to thousands of generations. Do the math on that ratio. The curse stretches 3 or 4, the mercy stretches thousands. That's the actual inheritance God designed, a grace that outlasts the trauma by a margin that isn't even close. Whatever your bloodline carries, the mercy is bigger than the curse. My son will know my voice from the inside of him, not the silence. My father had not the silence. His father carried him, know I love him because I said it out loud repeatedly. You'll know what apology sounds like from a man who has authority. You'll know the door doesn't close when feelings are too big. The patterns that took 3 generations to install can take 1 generation to uninstall. If somebody decides, somebody has to decide, and that's me. Generational, both ways. The curse and the promise live in the same bloodline. Generational, what they bury, what they pray, both of them coming through me at the same time. I'm an heir of a complicated estate. Some assets, some debt, some assignments left half finished. Generational, I get to choose what I afford, I get to choose what stops here. That's the inheritance I actually decide. She prayed, you didn't say the words, I'm saying them now. You'll hear them, you'll say them louder. That's the bloodline, that's the work. I could say strong, I could say smart, I could say talented, I could say resilient, that one I had on lock, but worthy. That word didn't fit in my mouth. For 30 years it didn't fit in my mouth. And nobody told me you can survive a long time on every word, but the one that actually does the holding. I built a vocabulary around me that didn't include the word strong work, because strong is what I had to be. Resilient work because resilient is just trauma with a resume. Capable work because capable is what produces, what proves, but worthy. Worthy was a different category. Worthy meant before the production, before the proving, before the receipt. Worthy meant just because, and just because didn't compute. I learned to earn instead. Earning was a system I could understand. You do the work, you get the access, you keep the position, but worthy. God doesn't run a meritocracy, he runs a bloodline based on a different pricing model. And I kept trying to pay invoices he had already settled. Kept trying to prove what he said before I had standing to argue with. Worthy, that's the word I couldn't say about myself. Strong, I could carry. Smart, I could perform. Worthy was different. Worthy meant rest. Worthy meant the receiving without the earning. He called me worthy before I had a track record to defend. Called me worthy when the fire would've argued otherwise. Worthy, I'm learning to hear it without flinching, without immediately listing the reasons he's wrong. Worthy is the word, and he said it first. I used to argue with God when he spoke that word over me. Used to do this thing where I'd hear it and immediately pull up the receipt of why I wasn't. Internal prosecutor on retainer, ready with the case to precedent the mistakes from October, like I was protecting his reputation by reminding him of mine. Like the truth needed my fact checking, like grace had to clear my approval before it could land. But God doesn't take amendments to his declarations. He doesn't accept my counter evidence at the throne of grace. He calls me what he calls me, regardless of my opinion. And I had to learn to receive in a posture I never practiced. Learn to let a word about me come from outside the prosecution in action. Settle in a place where my self-talk used to live alone. The voice from heaven at Jesus' baptism said, "This is my beloved, in whom I am well pleased." And he hadn't done a single miracle yet. No multiplied loaves, no raised dead, no sermon delivered. The pleasing came before the production. The beloved came before the achievement. And if that's how the Father spoke over the Son, before there was anything to point at, maybe that's how he speaks over me too. Beloved before the resume, worthy before the receipts, pleasing before the proof. Worthy, that's the word I couldn't say about myself. Strong, I could carry, smart, I could perform. Worthy was different. Worthy meant rest, worthy meant the receiving without the earning. He called me worthy before I had a track record to defend. Called me worthy when the fire would've argued otherwise. Worthy, I'm learning to hear it without flinching, without immediately listing the reasons he's wrong. Worthy is the word, and he said it first. Worthy, worthy, out loud in my own mouth, worthy, about myself. It still feels strange, but I'm getting there. Worthy, he said it first, he said it louder, and eventually I'm gonna stop arguing with the one who has the actual authority on the matter.